Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the July 17th, 2025 Master Plan Steering Committee meeting. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. See. All right, so before we get into the agenda, our goal this evening, folks, is to finalize and forward the first three chapters to the planning board for review and approval. First meeting for that would be, the goal is August 13th. So that's where we definitely are this evening and such. So I'm going to open it up to public comment, and then we'll roll into our agenda items. And as you know, historically been, kind of my my purview as chair is, if members of the public have comments throughout, feel free just to raise your hand and comment. So, does anyone have public comment before we roll into the agenda? Hey, Deb.
Hey, Jeff. Deb Paul, 118 Hardy Road. I just wanted to know how come the agenda wasn't up?
Yeah, so
I looked today and yesterday and I couldn't find it.
It's been up since last week.
But it wasn't.
You gotta go into,
I did.
planning and everything,
I-
wasn't there?
It's been up since at least last Thursday, if not sooner.
But when you go, well, the way I went was I searched agenda for master plan, the meeting. You click the meeting. When you go to the meeting, the list that has all the meetings. And then over, and it, no, not there. I didn't go there. I went there. But when I went there, it wasn't there. Like from the calendar. The calendar on the bottom? On the front main page, when you go down, when you look at when the meetings are, right there, and then you go to there, and you click there, and you click the little thingy there.
Okay.
That's where I went.
If it needs a link to.
Yeah.
It's posted on the agendas and minutes section of the website, which is where all of our agendas and minutes are. So I don't know.
I mean, not everybody, some people just look at the calendar to find the meetings.
It's in the agendas and meeting center.
all right, thank you, Deb. Anybody else from the public? All right, folks, thank you. So let's roll into kind of this summary of red line, draft chapters. So with this, I really, again, we've had so many good conversations. I do want to acknowledge that we did receive a lot of documents, from both the survey as well as these chapters, the draft of these chapters. Over the past few weeks, committee members have had the opportunity to definitely review them. The public has had the opportunity to also review them, and we received some good feedback from public members as well. With that said, I do, want to acknowledge the folks that did provide feedback to us. I do know that the Southern Hampshire Planning, as well, and our town staff has, diligently kind of reviewed that and kind of incorporated as we kind of built out. So as we kind of review the red line sections, I do want to, kind of premise, set the table there. And I also want to kind of thank Sylvia and her team for kind of, one of the major topics that we've really kind of been, kind of tackling is regarding kind of housing data. So she's going to be presenting what, where the housing data is currently lived. And then we'll kind of, I would, be looking for us to kind of definitely move forward with these first three chapters. So Sylvia and Kelly, if you want to.
Thanks, Jeff. So just to recap a little bit, so we did receive some really good feedback from the time when we sent out these materials to the committee, and also at our last 2 meetings or so, I would say. And a lot of that discussion, as we all know, was based around data. And so we thought it would be helpful to define some of that data. That was what I took the biggest request from the committee to be. And so the RPC has done that for us, so we would like to walk through the glossary that the RPC put together that really defines, again, that data that we've been talking about and that's cited throughout the draft chapter so far. So if you're good with that, Mr. Chair, we'll proceed.
Yeah,
Is
proceed,
this what
please.
you want up, or do you want the red line?
Yeah, no, this is good to start with. Right, so there are several different sources of data. The very overall encompassing is that US Census, and we all know from the census, it's decadal, so it comes every 10 years. And that decennial census is defined up the first bullet there. It's population and housing data that's collected every 10 years as part of the census process. And so that's the most recent, of course, then, being as of April 1st, 2020. So that's the first one. The second is the American, any questions about that so far? All right, let's move on to the American Community Survey. This is really estimated data, and it's also, its origins are from the US Census Bureau. And Zach provided this explanation for us, so I will just read it so it's part of the record. A large survey of several million people conducted by the Census Bureau. The process is continuous, and geographies of 65,000 people or more, so communities of 65,000 or more, that does not include Londonderry, receive annual updates that cover a single year, while smaller populations received 5-year estimates. The 5-year American Community Survey is often referred to as an average, but that is incorrect. The value provided by the estimate is expected to be true during some point of the 5-year interval. The ACS covers many more topics than the decennial census, such as economic, social, and healthcare data. However, as it is an estimate, there is a margin of error, and for more populous geographies, this is less of a problem, as the margin tends to be small. Though for smaller geographies, I would say that's probably communities, under 10,000, and more detailed topics, margins of error can be large in estimates, volatile year to year. So you have to take it all with a grain of salt. These are estimates. The decision whether to use the decennial census versus the ACS comes down to weighing precision versus timeliness. The decennial's value are the real values reported and not estimates, but they are released only once a decade and become less current as a decade proceeds, while the ACS provides an estimate every year, but it is that, just an estimate. So we're here right in the middle of the decennial census, and being 2025, we're right in the middle. So the next one is employment data directly from tax records. LODES represents a snapshot in time for a given job. Facts such as worker's place of residence, place of work, age, income from the job's industry are available for analysis. The National Historic Geographic Information System, this is a collection of data sets housed at the University of Minnesota. The New Hampshire GIS is often used to retrieve US Census Bureau information. One might choose to use the New Hampshire GIS over a Census Bureau tool, but because of the ease of the use and more dates are available. However, while it might be retrieved from New Hampshire GIS, the National Historic GIS, the ultimate source of the data remains to be Census Bureau. So the New Hampshire Employment, Security, Economic, and Labor Market information, so that's the Granite Stats. This is the statistical branch of the New Hampshire Employment Security, responsible for producing labor and economic analysis, like employment projections. They also manage Granite Stats. a database combining economic and labor data as well as other publicly available data sets. In particular, the ELMI maintains an employment data set similar to the Census Bureau's LODES, but is an annual average rather than a snapshot in time. New Hampshire Office of Planning and Development. So this information, that group is responsible for tracking housing unit building permits statewide, as well as estimating populations in non-decennial census years and projecting future population. So one of the things we talk about, and there were comments on, were the housing permit data. That is actually reported from the town to the state. So, and I did, there was some comment about updating that. I think, Bob, that was one of your comments. Can we get updated data? So we did get 2023 data, and that's as far as we can go, and that is from the state. So, New Hampshire, any questions so far? All right, we'll continue. New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority, or New Hampshire Housing as they typically go by, provides a large number of services related to home ownership and housing around the state. They also conduct a survey of landlords to gauge rental vacancy and median gross rents. In addition, they track home purchase prices by town. And then there's the New Hampshire Department of Education. This monitors school enrollment by grade, municipality, and school district. And finally, the town data, which is, as I mentioned, also provided by the town government. That can include things like parcel and GIS data, assessing data, utilities data that may be retrieved directly from the utility. So that's our glossary of the data. And what we do in the latest version is we refer to this, and this will be Appendix 1. I know that's a lot of information, and it may be easier as we go through the red line, and then you'll have this, and we can go back to it if you want to as a reference. Happy to do that, because I know it can be confusing. Martha,
Thank you.
I'm just gonna acknowledge.
Thank you. Can we, some of these, although they're great explanations, can we put dates with those, like of what date the data is that we're
Yeah.
using?
And that is actually, for the most part, in that.
context,
If
in the-
it's US Census, it's 2020.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be good
so-
to kind of go
sorry,
through the
Jeff?
red lines. Yeah, that's a great point, and I had that same thought. Let's pivot to the red line, review the red line.
Yeah,
Unless
why don't-
Kelly, did you have
yeah,
something
and
else?
If we haven't already, we'll make note and we'll make sure we'll have the dates.
Okay.
This one?
I mean, it would be great if we could have it right in the glossary, so when they refer to the
Not the-
glossary, they'd see the
That
date,
one,
but.
it should be the
or-
May, not
but
the June.
Date it right in the report, so they don't have to even go
Yeah,
to the
so-
glossary.
So in all of the tables, there should be dates,
I was gonna say, the
which
tables have,
reference, it
by the looks
states
of
the
I
the
know they were
source.
added the
Dates.
last
Yes,
edit.
exactly. So it should be fully updated at this point to reflect this data source and the date based on what the source is. So like Sylvia said, the census would be, of course, 2020, and then it sounds like, well, not sounds like, we were able to update the state data related to population to 2023, so that is updated in here as well. Does that answer your question, Martha?
Yeah, pretty much so, but.
We'll make note, if it's not there, we'll make note. Zach is aware that all the dates need to be on there.
Okay, and the, 2023, why is it that we can only update to 2023? What,
It has to do with the reporting. If that's all that the state has, it may be that there's a backlog, or I'm not sure what happens and when, for example, the assessing department or the building department reports all their information, but we're getting it from the
from the
state.
state? But Kelly, do you know when,
So generally, the state submits or submits a form to the town, Typically, it goes through the building department,
Okay.
and it's circulated amongst usually assessing and planning, but it's reflective and it's requesting, building permit data. And they're generally a year, give or take, behind,
Okay.
because it takes them almost a full year to input the data, evaluate and analyze the data, and to then project out the population and growth, if that makes sense. So they're,
Okay, so
They're
you,
less
you
behind than
might
the
send it to the
census.
state, but then they have to
Correct.
go and do all of
Correct,
this
yeah.
analysis. Okay.
so they're less behind than the census, but they're never, no one's ever gonna be 2025, right?
If
But,
I'm hearing it right, they're 2 years ahead of the census, but a year and a half behind
they're,
reality.
No, they have
yeah,
3
they're-
years ahead of
they-
it.
They
They're
have 2023, so
Yeah, they're
they're
3
well
years
ahead
ahead
of
of
the
the
census.
census.
Yeah.
2 years behind.
Back to permits and population.
Okay,
So there's a possibility that,
thank you.
obviously, that the 2024 numbers might get released in the next, by year's
could
end.
be.
It could, so
Potentially,
we'll
yeah.
want to
It could
definitely
be
monitor
before
that,
we finish with the entire master
Yeah.
plan.
That's,
but we'll see.
So like I know the town of Londonderry, we've filled out the form that the state sends us for asking for total building permits and those types of questions.
Yep.
We've submitted that back.
Okay.
Typically, we do that in the beginning of the year, but it's based on the prior, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
January 25 is everything from 24. Yeah.
So I think the reason we're poking on this is because there's been a large number of permits, and we have that number generally from the town, which the 23 numbers are quite a bit off. And you're right that it might be, by the time we put this on the street, it might be updatable, you know? But it's been a pretty hot market here of units on the market, being either built, permitted, or already constructed, or in the process of. And it's a substantial amount, and that's how we keep poking on this thing, rather than, but are you doing the 2023, just educational for myself, are you doing 2023 because you're trying to keep it on par with other communities that you're doing these kinds of master plans in? Or is it just because that's what the state's at?
So I think
You see
our
what I'm
ask
saying?
was
The
the,
2023 update was in direct response to the committee discussion that took place at the last several meetings.
Yeah, we just looked for the,
Okay.
I asked Zach to look to see if there was any more recent data.
Well, the recent data is with the town, but it's not from the state, so.
Which it confuses me why, if we have the factual data, why send it to the state to be regurgitated back to us a year from now?
So from a planning standpoint, we want to be able to compare to our surrounding communities and compare to how we fit in or how we don't fit in.
I think
And I think I've said before, when we talk about applying for grants and looking at things on a regional perspective, it's important that we can represent our position in that. And so that's why we take more of that regional look at it, which is, let me get to the answer to your question. So not, the other communities around us they're not taking that data direct from their town based on 2025. They're taking it, sending it to the state and pulling that when they develop their master plans or other documents.
I'd be happy with 2024.
Is that not an
Well,
accurate
I'm
representation?
happy to,
Because
if
That's
if
when
the
we had a
town
real
wants to
big jump.
provide us with the 2024 data, there's no reason why we couldn't put it in.
It's not that we don't
But-
want to provide it, I'm just saying for the purposes of the plan, comparing the data.
Well,
Yeah, we're
yeah,
trying
there's
to
kind of
be-
two things
We're
going
trying
on
to be
there.
consistent,
Yeah.
is what we're
I,
trying to be.
I understand everybody's position on this.
Yeah, but it doesn't change when it
Yeah.
goes to the state, it just comes back in a pretty format. We want to know, say, how many building permits
So-
were issued in 2024? We know that number. Why can't we put it in here?
So I guess that's a question for the committee as a whole. Is that what you want in your master plan? Do you want the specific building permit numbers?
I think to be really honest with the community, yes.
We refer to it in other sections for other years, so to just, to have that number.
Because in some way, over time, over that period of time that we're missing, let's say you have to 2023 data, between 2023 and 2025, we may have grown a lot compared to comparable towns in our area. And that should make a difference.
So the
Okay,
issue,
so, go ahead, Sean.
so the issue I see with that is, we'll have one data point that's 2024 and the rest will be 2023, because we'll only get building permits from that. So when you compare them, you're not comparing apples to apples at all, you're comparing an off year, and you're only comparing building permits, which doesn't influence the other numbers. It may be a different thing until it comes back from the state. That's the only thing that's.
I just use building permits as an example.
Yeah, the rest aren't one for one. That has to be processed by the state to get those numbers. The building permit
I-
number
The
is the only
building
number.
permit number is one for one, where everything
Yes.
else is not one for one.
Yep.
Your
Correct.
So maybe
population, education,
Maybe
so.
it could just be a note then. It would be using the same data, but it could just be a note that, since this data was published, there've been X amount of building permits issued in Londonderry.
I
Well,
guess,
I mean, then, once it gets approved, I mean, I agree, I think having some clarification that even just to, for residents to go and find where can they find the most accurate information, because once this thing is published, it's
The day after
the
it's
day after
published,
it
it's dated.
changes.
The
So,
day it's published, it's obsolete already, but.
yeah,
so I really think that
I guess that's-
it's possible if we could just like even have a sentence for the most accurate information, please visit XYZ. Just wanted to find what XYZ is. I think that
This?
Yeah, all right, so this is the latest data. Now, remember, the master plan is typically a 10-year period that we're looking at. So that for 10 years, it's a guidance document. So keep that in mind.
Yep.
So what may be surprising to you,
what page are you on?
29.
this is not the red line
26.
now. This is page 29.
29, oh.
So this is updated. Last time, we didn't have, what was it, 2023 data. We had 2022, and that line was just going straight up. And one of the
Okay.
comments and someone drew the line straight up past that. But in fact, that's not what happened. In 2023, there were only 54 building permits in total.
Sylvia, I don't mean to interrupt you. You're talking, and I think everyone is trying to find
Yeah.
where
It's
that
26,
is.
actually.
Yeah, I said 26.
26.
right,
26. Hold
sorry.
on, one second.
Yeah.
26 on the, and
Let me
I
get
apologize.
there.
26 on the red line version.
Correct.
No, I'm not on the, I jumped to the updated because we're talking about
Oh.
2023. We want to,
We can compare though.
Can you just give me a,
you can, and you
doc-
can
name of
compare,
document?
you can compare to the one.
So just,
Which document?
this one
let
right
me,
here, Jeff?
let me try
Third
and,
one, oh, yours is
this
different
make
than
sense.
mine.
Yeah.
This one right there.
so this is the
There you go.
chart, which like Marge was saying is on page 26 of that
Red
May
line.
document, red line document. And then
The
we
29
got the
of other one?
feedback saying you want 2023 or whatever the most current building permit data is. So that's reflected in the, I guess what we're calling the June 24 document
Yeah,
to show that 2023 data, which I now have on the screen.
does everybody follow that?
Yeah, okay. now
All
I
right,
guess,
this
yeah.
is the red line.
And I guess I have one last question. There's a reason we keep talking about this because we know the number of permits issued, but when you count permits, are you counting, you can have 280 units under one permit. So I don't know how you're counting that.
No, this is the actual number of units.
Okay, all right, just checking.
Yes, I asked the same question. I had the same question, Bob, to just ensure that I had the right information. So this is the actual number of units.
Versus
So
2022.
my point on reminding us about this 10-year plan that we're working on is that you can see the cyclical nature of this. And that's because a developer will have a concept. They'll come, they'll talk to the planning board about their concept, and they start their planning. And you can see the planning years, those are the dips. And then you can see the building years, those are where there are peaks. And so it's always cyclical, because there's that typical planning time and then building time. And that's pretty common. We see that often. And so you can see the peaks. Here, though, as what you all have been talking about, that growth, if you looked at sort of over time, that peak is getting higher and higher, isn't it? So you are growing. You are definitely growing. No one is denying that. And growing at a rate that is faster than the region. And so there's no denying it. But I just want to point out the cyclical nature. It could be, as Bob and some of you suspect, that in 2024, the building permits have shot back up. And I think that's why you want to know that number. But I bet you're surprised to see the 2023 number being only 54 compared to the year before, 321. So it's very different. And that's again because, and what you've seen in front of the planning board, you've seen a bunch of cases. You've seen, you know, all sorts of different subdivisions and PUDs. And so that cyclical nature you can see here. But we should go back to the red line and go over the comments. I just wanted to, because we're talking about data and things like that, I wanted to jump to that point. It seemed a good opportunity.
Okay.
Jeff, would you
Folks,
think we
when
should
we're,
continue to the red line?
I'm not confident that everyone's actually kind of even found the page that you were on, but, which is,
Sorry, I went.
no,
to the
you're
line.
good. You said something in that narrative, and thank you again, Sylvia, where we are growing faster than other communities in our region. I really think that's an important statement to make in the plan.
We do. We make that statement.
Okay, so I really want to ensure that that is
Yes.
prominent within the plan,
Yeah.
as well as kind of, you know, other components. So if we, when we get to a motion, I'd definitely, you know, to move it to the planning board, I would definitely, you know, within any addition, but if you're saying it's already in there, then,
Yeah, it sounds like it is in.
okay. All right, so let's go through the red lines. I think that's,
Now,
we'll probably.
remember, this is the version that I sent back in May, and you had comments, so we're going over the comments from this May version. We're also going to tonight, because, you know, not to drive you crazy, but to show you how we responded in the latest version. That is why we jumped just now from the red line to the most updated version. So some of the comments are in that most updated version. Right now, we're sort of looking at the May version. I know that's confusing, and I apologize. but
No, I think,
That's how the group decided to look at this.
so just to kind of,
If that's the case, can we just, I
You wanna
mean,
just
we
go-
redlined this last time we were here. Can we just
So I-
move to the updated one?
let's just,
So the most updated one is reflective of
The
all these
comments that
red
we made in
lines.
the red
And then
lines.
also the, discussion that took place at the last meeting, is that accurate?
What is that file
We
called?
have that? Did you send that
So the
to
one
us?
we're looking for,
No,
and
they
please
don't have
correct
that
me
yet.
if I'm wrong, would be, it's a Word document, draft land use housing regional impacts, MPSC update June 2024. Is that the one we want to be reading?
I guess that's my question to
Well,
you.
I
Which one do you wanna go through?
think there's
The
some.
most recent one, we know what the red lines are. We did it.
Okay, I
Well,
just,
there was a question at the last meeting about
yeah.
whether or not enough time was provided for this May red line. That's why,
That's
we're
why
bringing this
people
up.
got the May red line one. I think it's actually worth going over, so if we could just look at it, and then we can show you the response.
All right, and so we can all get on the same page, because there's like 15 different things named in here. We're looking at a PDF,
Don't.
717 red
you
line
make it so
vision.
you don't look at the formatted comments? Or you can't do that.
I just want to know which one I need in
yeah,
front of my computer.
71725 red line.
Vision of a, and it's the PDF one, correct?
Oh, it's a PDF,
I know,
okay.
it's there.
And a lot of these
Oh,
red
okay, I
lines
gotcha.
are formatting, please,
Correct.
if it says formatting, just don't even.
It's a PDF, correct?
Yeah,
The red line?
It should say May 25 at the end of the title of the document.
May 2025 draft is the very last thing that
The
it
last
says on
thing,
the
okay,
document.
we're on the same thing.
PDF.
All right,
Am
Okay.
I on the right?
Are we doing the red line or the May?
we're doing the
the
red
red line.
line.
Okay, the only one that says red line is the third one down. Am I
Yeah.
correct?
It's different on everybody's, like
Oh.
Jeff's is
Oh.
the second, mine's the third, but yes, red line, in all capital letters.
As long as
Got
it
it.
says May 2025 at the end, you got the right one.
Okay.
You good, Marge?
Well, I have to extend.
Mine doesn't say
ex-
May 2025,
Well, that's because it's,
cut off. or-
it's cut off, you have to extend. And then it does. The name's too long.
I'm good.
Okay.
All right, so are we on vision?
You're on vision.
So vision, let's start with, right into the thick of it, right from the beginning. And one issue is the term affordable. That term was used frequently with survey respondents, and so that's why this comes up here, is because it was used frequently with people who, the 1,400 or so people who used, not all of them, but many used that term. And so I understand, because there's a lot of ambiguity in that term, and maybe what we want to do is, because I know people wanted some definition with some of these terms, and maybe we define that, so that when people see affordable, we can say, this is housing for, it can be a variety, because also people are concerned about the word diverse. So we can say, this is affordable, in this case, means housing for people on various income levels, and includes a variety of housing. And we can even give examples, like for first home buyers, for families, and for people who are downsizing, so that we refer to various income levels. Maybe that's something that this group, because I think I would rather hit that nail right now and just get it over with, because it comes up often, and it was used by many people.
What page are you on?
Jeff,
Do it, go ahead.
that I understand that it was used by many people, and I understand that people generally wanna find affordable housing. But the fact of the matter is, in Londonderry, which has been fairly built up already, houses are market price. And market price right now in Londonderry is not affordable.
Well,
Well,
Or some.
again,
for
So-
some,
so-
but
Yeah.
there is actually a statutory definition of affordable housing. It is housing costs not to exceed more than 30% of the household income.
right,
Grossing.
And if you base it on the median household income in Londonderry, which is 130,008 something, it equals a home priced between 450 and 500.
Okay.
We do have those, not many.
Okay.
Well, we have them, they're just not for sale.
so we can use that, and that is in our regional housing needs assessment. I believe it's probably even later on defined in the housing section. But it was brought up by a couple of people, and so I thought, let's just
Does anyone have any
have that discussion.
change? If we were going to change it, 10 seconds, what do you want to change it to? If not, let's move on. Because this has to be voted to go to the planning board for review, which will have another kind of section of folks that will also be reviewing and scrutinizing it.
I think, Mr. Chair, I think we just put a definition in the appendix as to what that really means.
Right.
Because what's affordable in Windham, or versus Candia is not the same. And the population's different. So I think you would just put a.
Well, according to that definition, it is the same. Well, no, because
Well,
Because the
income's
median
gonna,
income-
the
I
income's
know where
gonna
you're coming
change, the
from.
income's
It's
gonna
similar.
change.
I would
yeah.
just put a definition. I'm good with it.
Okay,
Because when you tell a,
happy to do it, happy to do it.
when you say to a contractor, these aren't affordable houses, and they go, well, of course they are, they sold, they're affordable to somebody. And you can't argue with that,
Yeah.
but that's not what
We're
people
ha-
want
So
to be
we'll
able.
add that
We'll
to
add
the
that
glossary.
definition.
Yeah, the glossary of terms.
Yep.
And I can even put a little
'Cause-
call-out block right in that portion.
Because other definitions like workforce housing, that should be in the glossary. All these things that we throw around, which then the planning board hears about it, we even hear the zoning board, we gotta define those because they're being spit back at us by people applying for stuff, which is fine, but this document is giving them that information, which is fine, again.
They're using it.
They're using it, which is fine, but they need to be defined.
Agreed.
That's all.
A statutory definition for
Yeah,
workforce
exactly.
housing.
Agreed.
That's all.
And Marge, you provided,
And it
was
shouldn't be
the
subjective.
definitions that you
Should
provided,
be subjective.
Those were
that's right.
from
Those-
AI.
right, but those included,
Did I have? Oh, I hear. Responsible growth and sustainable development.
okay.
So we made a change to that. We have a recommended change to that. You'll see it.
Yeah,
in
that
the
was
next-
kind of, it gave us kind of wordy definitions.
Yeah, we'll see that in the next round. Another, the second bullet there, include responsible spending. This is what this committee came up with, these 5 bullets at the top of the page we're at right now on the screen. And there was a question about the phrase, include responsible spending.
Okay, so,
Not sure what the group, because the group came up with that, I'm not sure what you'd like me to do.
I don't see any change.
I don't see any,
Yeah, no.
All right, that was
Okay,
easy.
let's keep
so,
going.
folks, let's, and Sylvia, if, what, I appreciate the comments by folks and such, so let's continue on. If there's anything here that is really kind of, yeah, that does not reflect what our community is progressing, let's definitely bring it up. But we also, I just want to remind, we had many workshops to kind of workshop these items out as well. So I want to ensure that we keep that, in the back of our head as well.
That has changed.
Go ahead, Sylvia.
So this, this,
We skipped.
and the.
Deb, is something wrong over there?
No, I'm just looking at that chart, that's all.
Okay.
So this has been changed again. You can see that this says Londonderry projected population. There was a lot of discussion about this. So we actually took this out, and what we did was we made it regional, because I think it was, a lot of people have questions about this population projection, and because we can see that Londonderry is growing faster than the region, we decided what we did was replace this graph with the regional growth, and we made a comment, as we talked about earlier, about Londonderry's growth being faster.
Uh,
And you'll
and
see
did we
that
put in-
in the next version,
Okay.
okay?
So basically, we're emphasizing that Londonderry is growing faster. This is an area where, to what we were talking about earlier, where we are emphasizing that point,
Okay.
that we're
I think that's
showing
key.
how, showing
Yeah.
how we're different, like what I was saying, showing how we're different than the region,
Yeah.
which is important.
Do we have any idea what number we are thinking is a full build-out of our
That's
town?
not part of the scope of this, and that's a whole different ballgame
Okay.
there.
Somebody at one point said 32,000.
Okay, okay.
So, Mr. Chair, just make sure I understand. So this chart will be changed out, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I got that. Thank you.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
All right.
And you'll see that in moments as we fly through
that's fine.
this.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
keep going. See what comes up in red. I think this was, here, we're just adding the source. Keep going
With the year,
with the year.
Yeah.
Keep going. This is just formatting,
formatting
right?
stuff.
Yeah. And that's again talking about, what is it, I can't see that.
Regarding cost of housing,
Referencing the housing section for the detailed cost breakout for the housing. for housing costs.
So that was a new section, what page are we on, so everyone can follow?
13.
Page 13.
13. All right. So there was a lot of discussion at our, I think, not the last, well, I forget what meeting this was actually, but there was a lot of discussion, I think it was back in May, about median household income and per capita income.
That
And
was a
so
small group.
this is an explanation regarding that. I think, Bob, that was probably one of the things you were,
Actually, I think Lynn brought it up in May.
I think Lynn did.
Lynn?
right.
Oh, not Bob,
We did
sorry,
give Bob
Bob.
all the credit.
No worries.
So,
I shouldn't get any credit, but it was Lynn, you're right.
Lynn, you're right. Lynn brought this up, so we did add this, more of an explanation, but nobody in the last round had comments about this. Okay.
That makes sense.
All right, so commuting destinations, looks like this is where we added some additional information. And as you recall, when we first talked about the glossary of the different data, so I think there's some more information here. What page are you on, so everyone can follow?
16.
16.
Interesting.
All right. Yeah, so no one had comments about this, so we can continue?
I just would have highlighted that last statement that says Londonderry saw its share of, or between 1985 and 23, developed, blah, blah, blah.
That's right here, Marge? The 27 and point one?
Yeah, that whole sentence that starts with that between 1985. I just think that's key. Just bold it.
Okay. Make a note on this one.
Yeah, that's a key thing.
Sorry, I just have to bold.
I don't mean
Love to see a graph
I
of that.
don't, and this might just be a clarifying question. It looks, the source of this information is from the US Census Bureau. The averages are 2020 to 2022. How did we get those averages if the census only goes to 2020? This just might be me being naive, but
For the commute destinations. This data, it cites the census.
Okay, and so where does it say this, commute destinations for?
It
Yeah.
says 2020 to 2022 averages.
Okay, let me ask Zach, that might be ACS. So those are estimates then, but let me.
Is there a visual that can go along with that last statement, 1985 and 2023? It's a very broad, yes, we went from 27.1 to 45%
Where did 85
of
come
developed
from?
land. I'm just trying to see what that looks like. Did it happen from 85 to 92, 92 to 96, 2021 to
Like
now?
you want an incremental,
I'd like to see what that looked like, where that, when that growth was happening.
so similar to like how we have
Yeah.
the dips
Correct,
Yeah.
for
correct,
the permitting and population have
correct,
for land.
correct.
Okay,
You think
so
that's something that,
graph, let me talk to
Why
Zach.
1985?
what's that?
Why 1985?
Do you know why he chose 1985?
I
It's
think
the
it
year
must have
Zach was
been,
born.
Oh,
it must have been just that increase stood out,
gotcha.
but I will.
So
I'll
that tells
talk
me
with
the
him.
increase started in 85 is what I'm
Well-
hearing. It was probably relatively flat, something happened in 85, and that's when we started to see real
Yeah.
Well,
development.
we generally know that in that time frame, that was a boom period for
Yeah,
construction.
in general,
But
yeah.
Yeah,
we can certainly
I think it's
better,
worth visualizing.
better illustrate
Visualizing.
I think it's
that.
worth visualizing.
okay. Good. Good feedback. Let's keep going.
The housing and affordability challenges, it says the region added just over 7,000 housing units,
Okay,
and 26% of those are in Londonderry. I think that's significant.
So here,
Yep.
26% are in Londonderry?
Yep.
Where does that number come from?
It's in, the 7,000 is in line 2.
No, he's
Oh, I see the
asking-
7,000, I just don't see where the 26% comes from.
Yeah,
I just, I can't remember, I was
I
doing
guess that would
research.
be, do we have
So
something?
I will find out what
verify that?
percentage.
I think Marge is just looking for us to call out where Londonderry fits into that 7,000.
That works, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Very well put, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Excellent. Okay.
Where did you have other?
Hold on.
What's this possible map on page 18?
Londonderry's continued investment in sidewalk network, shared use paths, blah, 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 safe road design will help the town align with regional multi, blah, 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 blah.
Just showing the different
So what is the map?
transportation.
The map would show different means of transportation, you're saying?
Ah, yeah, we'll see what he comes up with. I don't know what he's.
What is
got
there
in his
really to
mind.
come up with
What-
in terms of a map?
Zach, what
There's
Zach?
like 6 sidewalks in town, what's there to, what,
Woodmont. Well, then by the schools.
That whole paragraph perplexes me. 'cause
Trails.
Which
Trail-
paragraph are you looking
continued
at?
investment in sidewalk
Sidewalk
networks?
networks,
I
we're
mean,
not doing.
we're
really
not,
doing
we have
sidewalks.
never invested in
Well,
sidewalk
I
networks.
think,
Well,
I think
People
that,
as-
I
One
think
second.
that,
Well,
I have
it's-
to disagree with that, because in the survey that we did, there was an outcry and requests for bike lanes, walking, sidewalks, connectivity by sidewalks to like rail trails and parks, and we don't have that. So I would take strong objections, say, well, we're not doing sidewalks. I mean,
What I'm
Yeah,
saying is
yeah.
continued investment is very misleading.
no, I
really-
understand. I think
There's
it's
been
a
no
very general term, right?
But let's be honest, there's been zero investment from the town of Londonderry.
Oh, that is true. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
That's why I have
I
a
think
problem with
really
continued
Londonderry's
investment.
investment has been in your rail trail.
Rail trail.
Correct.
Exactly.
So we
It's not
can
a
talk
sidewalk.
about the rail trail here.
Yeah.
well, and I also think in the survey, people are asking for these sidewalks and walkability and whatnot. They want their cake and eat it too. They want to have a rural community, but they want sidewalks that are citified and,
bike lanes.
I don't
right?
disagree with that.
They're asking
So I-
for two different things.
But I think
I don't
what I
remember that being
understand
high in the
this,
survey.
this map to be
Just
though,
to clarify,
It's one of the
because I
objectives in
think
the plan.
the only thing I'm stuck on is continued investments.
Right.
If we want to invest in sidewalks, sure. Continued investments
That's true.
is 100% misleading.
Right.
so we
I
can-
can't think of one sidewalk the town of Londonderry has
Remove
installed.
continued.
There is
Yeah,
one.
Let's,
Put
let's,
promote
okay, folks,
investment.
let's remove
And
continued.
schools.
Let's remove
Yeah,
So I-
continued.
that's the only one I can think of.
absolutely agree with the continued.
That's it.
investment.
That's all I'm trying to
No
get
doubt
at.
that has to
Continued
change.
investment is a terrible word.
With respect to the visual of the map, I think it would be good though to show that, to prove that point, right? That we don't actually have
Yeah.
sidewalks, but we do have
Rail
rail
trails.
trails, and that will help illustrate where there's potential for sidewalks. that
Well,
could
there's
connect to
also,
there.
Totally agree.
you can improve the walkability of neighborhoods by avoiding four-way intersections. If you have T intersections, you create a way to get past that intersection without crossing it. Do you know what I'm saying? So if we had people
Yeah.
designing neighborhoods without four-way intersections, that would improve walkability. So I'm assuming there's other ways to do that as well.
Yeah, I agree with Jake that the word continued is not,
It's just
It's
bad
not a
wording,
correct
that's
statement.
all.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the fact that surveys did not indicate that, because it did request that. and-
The survey definitely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I live a mile away from the rail trail, and I have to drive there, because you can't walk there, and you can't bike, you get run over. So, I mean, I have to drive there to ride my bike on the rail trail,
Exactly.
so,
Yep.
without risking my life and limb,
Right.
so.
All right, so we will rewrite that.
Well, it is our master plan.
It is your master plan. That's right, Martha.
What else did you have?
Let's just keep going. I think there was your section with zoning.
I don't know what page we're on yet.
That was a
20?
big one.
Yeah.
20?
Page 20.
Yep.
Yeah.
Page 20. So, yeah, we just, Kelly added this section on lot size and infrastructure. There's no comment on that. If you skip to page 25,
No, they're talking about vacant land. This piece, I think this is when
Ah.
we requested further explanation about how we define vacant
Mm.
land, which I think is answered.
all right?
It's all good.
And there was some discussion about,
So, let me just talk about the lot size thing.
yeah.
So
yeah.
I moved to page 21, so there was a lot of, well, I had noted in the initial draft that there were some differences between what was written versus our regulations. Actually, Lynn posed the question as well. So this is directly, this is language direct from our regulations with respect to how we calculate, or what we require for lot size, with respect to densities, which is ultimately based primarily on sewer usage or sewer availability versus septic. So that's what this paragraph reflects. Again, what our regulations reflect.
Okay.
The table?
25. So there was a lot of, there were some questions about this as well. So I will just point out, this is, again, that American Community Survey. So these are, there is no getting updated numbers. Someone asked about getting updated numbers. And this isn't about growth. This is just the percentage of single-family and multifamily, two-family, manufactured homes. So I think there was just maybe some misunderstanding of this. I'm not sure.
Then that's 2023 numbers, right?
Correct, so that's
I-
noted now.
Yeah.
Well, it's,
At the bottom, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Because I think, at least in Londonderry and a couple other communities, not necessarily listed in this list, you're gonna see a major change in multiple units in the last 2 or 3 years, going into 26. You're gonna see that number. But again, we already beat that to death. We're using 23 numbers, but by the time this gets out, it's gonna be substantially different to the right side of that chart in Londonderry.
This is the one we've already seen the update.
No, this is the one that's on the bottom of page 25.
Right,
Yeah.
you were just on.
Yeah.
You're
So-
talking 3 or 4 units,
So
5 or more
structures with
units.
5
Yeah.
or more units.
Yeah, we're seeing an
There's gonna be
explosion
more.
of that in town,
Right.
so it's gonna be really different very shortly.
It could change, yeah.
No, it will change.
You were
No, it
talking
could.
about this table just now, Sylvia?
This one.
Page 25.
No, I'm saying you were just referencing the building permits, when you said this is the chart we've seen updated?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I kind of moved on, because yeah. So we're good with this, so let's keep going.
We kind of skipped page 24.
I don't think there were any edits on it.
Well, there
What
was
one,
the,
March 24?
24, it's a square box. The second one, it says recommended zoning revisions and process strategies are recommended by the HOP grant. We never really discussed the HOP grant.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I
why
forgot
that's in
that.
there, and are we sure that's
So-
something we want to?
So I researched that, and what I found was that all the monies from the HOP grants that came out of the, whatever that government money that came out in the COVID, all of it's been spent 100% as of December 31, 2024. And when you go to their website, there is no 2025. So I'm not sure that the HOP grant's still a thing.
So Londonderry received the grant monies. through
Oh, and the
HOP grant.
old HOP, 24 one?
Probably before.
And
So-
we are concurrently working with the RPC on developing and going through, developing basically a report analysis, utilizing those funds. The hope was that the master plan would be concurrent with that. But this seems to be behind the HOP, would you say?
Well, no, we have done some work, but we are sort of waiting for this process and these chapters to
So-
become more solidified.
Can I just make just a clarity, in our, when we review the June, red lines, there are a few items, within that section, that entire section, that I think we could probably look at it when we review that. So I just wanna, Marge, I do appreciate you bringing that up, but, I just opened the June one, so once we get to the June one, in a few moments here, we'll want to unpack that. And Sylvia, you do have a comment there.
Okay, and I will, if we keep this in, we can provide explanation of what HOP grant is.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, good call. Move to the next page if everyone's set.
Yeah, so I would just add one thing. So if I understand Kelly correctly, you already have some monies within the towns that came from this
We
grant.
My office applied for the grant through the state, the HOP grant. We received $50,000,
Okay,
and we've contracted with the RPC to go through that and
okay,
utilize those funds.
thank you.
Oh, page 27 kind of has the graph I was asking for, but it's in,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so, have we done 25 yet?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we did, okay. We've done that. Keep going. I think those were the biggest things.
What's this?
Okay, yep, go to there.
Page 20, 30?
30. So people wanted, the definitions were there already, but we've just called it out a little bit more on being cost burden. So if you scroll to the next page, there, it's right there. I may have even done more in the next version. So that, those definitions, and I believe we added a little bit more
Page 31.
information there.
31?
That's what it says at the bottom.
Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah, looks like 31.
All right. So there were no additional comments from the red line version, so I think this is all okay. Are we all good? All right. Keep going.
Where am I going in June?
Where are we?
No, we keep going, I think,
Sorry, one more, 32?
32. This was also included. And this is US Census data. And that National Historic Geographic group. So we've added
So,
that
yeah.
reference.
So adding the references and more current data, as we discussed previously.
All right.
Great.
I think that, those were the big items. So now we can jump to the latest version. And you'll see so I still have that we need that affordable definition. We need to make sure all dates are on the data. There's some other definitions like HOP, but you'll see some are built in already into this.
So what document are we going to now?
This is the June.
You're going to the Word document, it says two, period, draft, land use, housing, regional impacts, MPSC update, June 2024.
No, it just says 24.
Sorry, 24.
Is everyone, I just want to ensure everyone has it on their screen before we,
Say that one more time, Jake?
So
For the one
it's a
ending in
Word
June.
document, so when you're looking at your thing, you've got PDFs and you've got Word documents.
Yeah.
It's the one that says two, period, draft, land use, housing, regional impacts.
Okay, I went to the right one. Thank you.
This one? Yeah, okay, I got it.
All right.
Again, same chapters that we were just talking about.
All right, so this will be quick, so you just look for the red
So-
and you'll see some minor changes. Here, for example,
Page 5.
page 5. There was some concern about using that word sustainable. So, we made some suggested changes there, and that is in the vision. So give that a read. So now it says, as good environmental stewards, Londonderry fosters development while preserving its distinctive New Hampshire identity, natural resources, and ensures a
Okay, got it.
thriving, inclusive community for generations to come. And that was to respond to the comment of concern for sustainable development. So we just took that out and explained what we were talking about. And I think this gets to what the committee, and I'm seeing some head nods, so. Is everybody else good?
good.
All right, let's keep moving.
In the next box down, I just had, no, I can't find it. I don't see how our policies can provide a variety of housing choices. We don't provide them. We allow them, but we don't provide them.
The zoning provides them, and so policies.
Provides the options for them, but we don't actually,
Yeah, we don't provide it.
we don't provide the,
No, but
the
you
structures.
provide the zoning that allows for it. Which number are you at?
It's number 5, the blue,
5.
blue one.
5. Establish policies
I think
and objectives.
the proper
Do
word
you
probably
wanna
is
say that
encourage,
allow
not
for?
provide,
That's what I
That
think is.
allow for.
Allow for,
Encourage would be better.
but encourage or.
Encourage,
Yeah,
yeah.
encourage.
Encourage.
You like encourage?
Yeah, because we're not really providing, it means like, okay.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, we're not giving,
Here.
Sure.
I think that's a good,
All right, yeah, that's good grab. All right, we'll make that change. And here, the demographics, so this is new since the last version. This is the data source explanation, and you can see it refers to, at the end of that paragraph, to Appendix A, and we've already reviewed that.
Mr. Chair, I have a quick question though. I know that myself and several others gave some comments earlier in the week, like over the weekend or Monday. Were any of those taken into account in
Yeah,
doing
oh,
this?
yeah.
Okay, I just want to ask, 'cause I didn't know.
As an example, someone was concerned about the word diverse, and it was used in this way that I think something like Londonderry or the residents are.
Like diverse
have
housing
asked
types or
for
something,
diverse housing types. They didn't like the word diverse, so we just replaced that with a variety of housing.
That's fine. I just didn't know if that was taken into account, that's all.
Yep.
Thank you.
Of course, if there's anything that you see that's not there, please speak up.
All right. I think that was just additional explanation from Zach.
Did we, page 6, is that where we are?
Page 7.
Yeah, can you tell us what pages you're going to? 'Cause-
This is page 7.
Seven, thank you.
So further explanation about the data.
Thank
which
you.
we Covered.
Covered
when we
earlier.
Reviewed the definitions. So that's just cited in the actual plan.
So if
This
you-
also, this page 7 is kind of what I was talking about earlier.
Yes.
1980, 154%, 90, 45%, 2017%, 2010,
Yep.
4%, 2020, 7%. Obviously, we don't have a 2030 because it's not 2030.
Yeah, that made more sense to me than just here's a block of time, here's the percentage increase. I don't know
Correct.
what that
So
looks
it shows you that,
Yeah,
it shows you that a majority of that was pre-2000. From, 2009 to 1980 was a majority of that. And yes, we had 2010 makes sense, it was lower, 4%. 2020 seeing 7%. I'm sure 2030 will be, more than 7%.
Yeah, we did little math at the last meeting. I don't know if you were already here or not, but when you look at the permitted, constructed, in construction or permitted, we're about 2,300 units in the last 5 years. And if you even use a metric of 2.0 people per unit instead of 2.7,
Yeah.
you're looking at, 4,600 people, 4,700 people. If you add that to 2020, then you'll see that curve by 26, 27 when they're all occupied, So you might see that spike again. But again, there's nothing to do with this because we're not showing that.
Yeah.
Right.
But realistically, that's where that disconnect kind of comes in with this
Correct.
report, or this plan, is that we're seeing some, I won't say
Whoa,
drastic,
yeah.
but we're seeing some major changes that are happening that are not really being reflected in this
go
document.
back to that though.
Because as you put it, Jake, it's gonna be obsolete the day it's published.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it is.
So,
But more updated than the last one.
earlier.
Yes.
As updated as we can get.
If you
Yeah.
look at the bottom of page 7, this is the explanation of the graph that is on the following page. This is where we took out the Londonderry population projection and replaced it with the regional. And this is where we state, you can see in that last sentence, however, local data such as recent building permit activity suggests that Londonderry is currently growing at a faster pace. So now if you flip to the following page, you will see this is population projected, and this is the region. All
We
right?
should probably add the word regional after projected, because I was looking at that, freaking out, thinking you had the commas in the wrong place for Londonderry, and then I realized it was regional. And I think just say projected regional population might,
Sure.
Yeah, you're talking about, so we're currently the title Southern Hampshire Planning Commission projected population, put more
Throw
region,
regional in
because I
there.
think that will,
yeah, because we do
Yeah, yeah.
Londonderry, and all of a sudden, this
Yeah.
is regional, which is fine, but
Yeah, it-
everybody needs to change speed before they look at it.
Yeah, could
Yeah,
say-
yeah, that's,
Yeah.
that's a
Or-
good one.
So then,
but this is regions within the Southern Hampshire Planning Commission.
yeah,
Right,
So I do want to,
Southern New Hampshire Regional Planning Commission?
yeah,
did I say university, Southern
No, I'm
Hampshire
just
University?
making a
or
point.
projected
Okay, yes.
regional population.
I think it's
That's
just
what I said.
projected regional
Yeah.
population.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then jumping to page 9, this would be an example of some of the feedback we received earlier this week relating to that diverse, the term diverse.
See that?
What page are you on?
Page 9.
Oh,
9.
Okay.
Be a need for,
So if you look at the last sentence in the first paragraph, as graphics shift, there will be a need for a greater variety
of,
of, thank you, housing options. All right,
Then again, so page 10, just more clearly defining the source of the data.
and I think page 15,
Sorry.
if you, I thought you just had it. Go up, let's see. No, 15, yeah, you're right. Up. So right, that call-out box, the majority,
Which page are we at?
15,
15.
you went by it.
Sorry.
It's okay, right there.
Oh, I'm not getting,
I
This
think,
mouse is
oh no,
super
wait a
touchy.
minute, that's the wrong one. Go down again. It's under commute patterns. If you find
Okay.
commute patterns, it's
Got it.
my 15, for whatever reason, it's a little
16,
different.
yeah.
Yeah.
So 16, so there was concern about, again, the phrase sustainable growth. So we replaced this, and I'll read the sentence. While many of these commuters are traveling outside of the community, exploring active transportation infrastructure, transit, and promoting mixed-use development could improve accessible and efficient transportation. So that was taking out transportation accessibility and sustainable, well-planned growth. But we felt we got at the intent of this sentence that came from the survey. All right, I think we've already tackled this one. So let's go to, I'm scrolling way. Okay. We've already talked about that. I think that might be it. These are just, so 26 and 27 are the next areas. So that's housing. That starts with housing.
Well,
My 26 and 27, yours is a little
28
bit
and
different
29.
again, so here.
27 and 28, excuse
So,
me.
yeah, so looking here, and we're now citing where the data came from. That was a big discussion last time.
but we did
And-
skip page 26
Yeah.
with a couple red marks on it.
Hour 26, right?
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I remember that, you're so right. So instead of ensure, it was promote. All right, we said
And then
that.
the HOP question, Marge, the HOP grant question. So the comment was that we could change the language to just say that, well, that call-out box.
Okay,
What would we, to make it more general?
Yeah.
okay, I will follow.
Coordinate land
I
use
think
boards and
that
committees in the
probably-
review of
yeah.
recommended zoning revisions.
All right, yeah,
Just stop after that.
Yeah, just get rid of that reference to.
I
okay.
do have a question, Mr. Chair. On the HOP grant, what, I'm just trying to learn from the HOP grant thing, because I read the HOP grant document. What is the town, we got a grant, so we're doing whatever we're doing. What is the outcome of that? What are we trying to gain by that? What is the desired outcome of doing whatever we're doing in the Regional Planning Council? What is it?
Are you asking him or me?
You, because you're doing the HOP grant, not him.
I know, but I didn't know if that's the direction
No,
you
I
want
just-
this conversation.
No.
So we're working with the RPC to conduct a review of our zoning regulations and any other pertinent regulations. And it's essentially a version of an audit, and it's focused on housing regulations. So we're working through a review of that, and it will result in potential areas that we can amend our, again, specific to housing regulations, potential future zoning amendments or any changes that we may or may not want to our regulations, again, with respect to housing
Or policies.
or policies.
Okay.
So it's,
Bob,
for
is,
lack of a better term, a version of an audit
Yeah.
of our regulations,
Yeah.
but the
Thank you.
focus is on housing.
All
I
right,
would assume it's an audit to see how our current zoning aligns with the need for housing, is a fair way to put it.
Need or not.
Good, there you go.
all right. We good to move on? So the next section with housing, so that we're through land use. So now we've hit housing, so again, making reference to the data source And then those recent development trends, that's a new section there. And talking about, again, we go a little bit deeper. If you look at the middle of that paragraph, over the past several years, the planning board has approved new housing developments across a variety of housing types, including single-family, condominiums, two-family homes, multifamily apartments. Notable among these is the Woodmont Commons development, which includes 1,430 approved residential units with 165 already occupied and 264 currently under construction.
Sylvia, it's incredibly important to include that Woodmont Commons has its own master plan, and should not be part, this is not part of the Woodmont master plan, unless I'm,
So this was direct comment from the committee that they wanted to include.
okay, well, I'm
that
just saying
reference,
that
but I'm
if we're gonna
happy to
say
take it out.
Woodmont, we have to, I
think
don't think we
what-
have to take it out, I think we just
Yeah.
need to be clarify that.
I think he's trying to point out that
We have
Would
no
not
control
has
over
its-
that.
Why don't we just say this?
Just make it clearer.
Notable among these is the Woodmont Commons development, which per the development, per their PUD master plan, allows for 1,430
Yeah.
approved units.
Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let me see if I got that right.
I'll
It's recorded.
take a stab at
Okay. Okay.
it. Is that what you're trying to get at?
That's exactly what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to remove
And not just like a
ambiguity.
Make it-
blanket?
Stand out as unique.
Because then someone's gonna take it and someone's gonna say, but your master plan is, it's gonna happen, so.
Yeah, okay. All right. The next page, 27, there's just some clarification from the information. And that, those units are then reflected in that same graph that we've talked about. So those numbers were just updated to reflect. And I did also include the chart, so you could see actual numbers there.
And so this is building permits.
And I will give that chart a title to, I think I have that in, or I might have even cut that off. I don't know what happened there. All right, title and source. All right, let's keep going. I think that was it.
Oh, did we
Yeah.
keep that graph in twice?
It shows, I didn't want to show that it was deleted. That is actually, there's a line through that graph. So it's actually deleted. I just haven't accepted these changes.
Oh, okay. I don't see a line in mine, but that's,
a line in mine.
It's
Yeah.
very, very faint.
Okay.
I'll take your word
It's just enough to
Thank you,
annoy,
Kim.
and that's it.
All right, could we, sorry to harp on this one. I don't know what page number it is on yours. It's page 20 on mine. Possible map here.
oh,
Okay.
Are we not putting a map there, or we are?
I will ask Zach, see what he has in his, I've asked him
This
before.
is the same discussion that we had.
It's the same exact one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
So we'll
either,
make the change to that sentence, and then if there is a map that shows these transportation items referenced in the paragraph, so whatever sidewalks we have.
I just don't want this to go to the planning board and there's a blank page that says possible map here, because then it's gonna
Okay.
be a
We'll either
45-minute
put a map
conversation
in or
on
we won't.
what that map is,
Got it.
On a possible map.
on a possible map, so.
I do have a question. I asked it this months ago, and you did give me an answer, but I can't remember. Is there a reason, are we out of region with people like Merrimack, who's experiencing some explosive growth around, the Highway 3, and also with Salem? Probably those three communities, including us, are probably seeing the biggest explosive growth. but they're not listed here, and they're really neighbors. I mean, they're not very far away. They're definitely not very far that a Wyndham is. Why are they not included? I'm just curious. Because it paints a kind of a,
Salem is in Rockingham Planning Commission.
Okay.
Merrimack is in Nashua Regional Planning
okay,
Commission.
all right.
I can ask Zach if he can look at that.
I'm just curious. It's not a do or die for me, but I think I work in a lot of these towns professionally, and I just know what's going on there, and they're experiencing the biggest growth. Definitely not Candia or Auburn or Chester or some places like that.
Their turn's coming. Their turn's coming.
Not
Do we
like not like
mention
not like us.
anywhere in here
Not like us.
what towns are in our region?
The ones that are
Well,
listed.
the ones
ones
that
that are
are
listed.
listed.
All the
that were
ones that
in
are
that
listed.
chart?
I don't have heartburn about it. I just want to ask the
Manchester,
question.
Londonderry, Nashua, Salem.
Yeah.
Oh, Salem
Got
is
it.
in here.
Got it.
Oh, these are commute
Yeah.
destinations.
I-
Never mind.
I have no heartburn over it. I just want to ask that because
There we go.
if
Londonderry.
you
Auburn.
want to use a realtor's term of comparisons, those are the real comparisons,
yes.
not, not Auburn, or Wyndham for that matter.
I think that's all we had with respect to these chapters. Unless you have any other questions.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Olivia. Appreciate the time going through those chapters, Bob. I think that is somewhat important. I do kind of want to get a sense of where we are in moving this to the planning board for review. That's going to also include, additional kind of collaboration and, feedback. I think this committee has done immense amount of work. It's been hard. It's hard. This is hard work, folks. So I really appreciate everyone's time and passion for it. But I would definitely entertain a motion if we would want to move this to the planning board for review and
I
the
think it
next
would
steps.
certainly be appropriate at this point, for, as we've amended it tonight, it be presented to the planning board. I think that's certainly appropriate at this point.
Can I just add
Sure.
one thing? There was a comment from Mike Speltz.
Oh, yeah.
He wanted more emphasis on preserving open space, and we kind of didn't really talk about that.
No.
Yeah, no, even printed it, yeah. It was
Yeah.
about, open space and
Yeah.
wooded areas and rural character, and I think,
Basically, I can read you what he wrote. Protect natural resources and ecosystems through acquisition of land by fee or conservation easement, land with high conservation value.
Do we feel that those themes are not reflected in any of this current version?
I think it's mentioned in there.
it's
There was a-
mentioned.
Yeah,
And
it's not given emphasis, and it doesn't say how we're gonna do it, which he says specifically that it should either, be through acquisition of land by fee or a conservation
That
easement.
wouldn't be a planning board or a zoning regulation. That would be a town council decision when we get into that
But
kind
it's
of
our
thing.
vision.
But,
I think-
yeah,
But it's the vision of
The
the
We're getting
plan,
into
so.
the next set of chapters.
Yeah.
okay.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. as I
Yeah,
looked
that's
at
like,
this, I was
that's
looking
kind
at
of the
next
whole
chapter, I thought maybe it
natural
fit in better
resource
there.
side of things.
Because I think there's a real,
Green infrastructure, natural resource inventory kind of thing, that will be
Right.
in that chapter.
Kelly, that's a really kind
I
of good,
just don't
so,
want to ignore it, that I
No,
think
I've
you
got
made a
it.
It's noted,
valuable
yeah.
comment, and I wanted to raise it.
and let's definitely bring it to, and maybe even bring Mike in when we start to talk about these,
Get to
Conservation.
that part of, yeah.
these surveys, especially with, because the next topics will be natural resources, transportation, economic development type aspects, so I think it's
because
well timed.
So Jeff, would you accept a motion? Do you want a motion now, or do you want one later?
I would, Bob, I'm going to open the floor for you, because you kind of,
No, I was just gonna say that, I'm not saying they should be included in this chapters, but I think there's a real, and we mentioned this in May, I know we mentioned it in June, and probably in April. There's a real dichotomy here between this push for more housing, diversity of housing, more density perhaps, and the idea of keeping the feel of the town and preserving space, which I guess you could argue if you have more density, you have more space, but that's neither here nor there. That could be debated for 10 hours. there's a real dichotomy here, not that it impacts what we're gonna vote on today, but I'm still very uncomfortable about that clash between, and I know the others here that I won't speak for that feel the same way, because we're speaking out of both sides of our mouth in some ways, right?
I think
It doesn't
that's-
impact this necessarily, you know, what we're gonna vote on, it's fine, but.
I think that's reflected in the survey, actually. I think you see both those things in there at a high point, and I think that's the hard part about this committee, is to try to take into account both those things, meld them together and mesh them in, and there's ways to do that, but you've got to keep both those aspects in mind, because both those aspects are what people want.
Correct.
So Jake, I would entertain a motion, getting
So
back to you.
moved.
The second.
Okay, so the motion on the table is to move to submit the vision, the demographics, regional context, housing, and land use chapters as amended by members of this committee, July 15th, or July 17th, rather, 2025, to the planning board for review and consideration. Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, you motioned. I
He
read the
motioned-
motion.
He motioned, I seconded, you just reiterated it, so.
Sorry about that.
It's all right.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative, so we have consensus. Thank you, folks.
Any
Jeff, what is the
idea-
process? I'm sorry, what is the process? She goes to planning board and then what? And then it
That-
goes to,
Sorry, was that a unanimous vote?
Yeah.
It was a
Yes.
unanimous
it
vote.
was, what's, I just, out of curiosity, it goes to planning board. There's three of you who are on that planning board. What happens then?
Yeah.
Will there
So-
be public comment
Yeah,
at the
absolutely.
planning board?
So.
Yeah, just
so-
curious. I don't
Will
know.
it be a public
I'll have-
hearing?
Can I
I'll
talk,
have Jake
can I
answer
talk
that.
as the chair of the
Yes.
board? So my anticipation is there will be 2 or 3 meetings on this subject. We're gonna have, you know, usually when something comes to the planning board reviews it, so they can review it, and then we have a public hearing on it. I anticipate that I will take it a little bit differently and let the board digest it and get some feedback from the public at the first meeting. So we have some of that ready for the second meeting. The reason for it is hoping that we can not just keep not kick the can down the road, but be able to act on a little bit more at once. So my thought is that we as a board will discuss it. I'll have some, I'm gonna, depending on what the crowd is, we'll have to, limit times on public comment, but get the feedback at the first meeting and then have a real legitimate public hearing where it's noticed after that. But the first meeting, I'm gonna anticipate to accept some comment.
All right. Any chance we're gonna email those people who gave us their email addresses and said they were wanting to participate?
I was just gonna ask that same thing. The people that signed the original survey on this chapter, who gave their email, said they wanted to participate, are those emails put into a group anywhere that we could blast out an email to them?
We can make that happen. So there are two things the group can decide now, is now that you have approved this to go to the planning board, one, do you want us to put it on the website as a draft chapter, or do you want to wait for the planning board?
Yes.
No, I'd say, what was your yes to, the first one or the second?
Well, my feeling is that if we're talking about this in public, it has to be posted
Yeah.
on a website.
Yeah. I'd
Oh,
be-
yeah, as a draft.
Yeah,
After draft.
I don't see a problem with it
That's what I thought.
being a
We'll-
draft item on the website.
That's what I would recommend, is posting it on the master plan site. So we can, what we'll do is we'll make these revisions. I'll make sure either the map is in or it's not. I've also made a note to have a map of the region. I think that's a good idea. And so we'll give that to Kelly and Jeff. You guys can do the final proof and then get it on the master plan website, or
Just-
give us,
Just to
the-
echo on that, I'd be very comfortable not seeing this again until it gets to the planning board. So make the amendments, Jeff, you can review them, you're the chair of the board. I'm sure that you're gonna review them with Kelly
That's-
and be
Agreed.
happy with them.
So-
That's
and
how I
get
just
to the board.
understood that motion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is
Yep.
now we're to the planning
Yeah.
board.
Yes.
So, like Sylvia just said, this the clean version based on our discussion tonight will go up on the master plan website.
Yeah.
And then I'm anticipating this to be at the August 13th planning board meeting.
Yep.
So when we publish that agenda, now that we have the ability to publish the documents that go along with the agenda, I would put that clean draft link to that agenda as well, in addition to going on the master plan site.
Okay.
Your
And
question
Martha,
about
to
the
your
emails,
yep, go ahead, I was just.
Sounds like we shouldn't have an issue blasting that information to
Yeah,
that
include a copy
listserv.
so that they can review it and not spend
Okay. that was
hours
my
at the
second
planning board
thought.
meeting.
For it, that would be really good.
Okay,
And just to, you know, when we have the
We have a
public
member of
hearing,
the public
I'm
wants
more
to
than
speak.
likely, depending on how busy the board is gonna ask for a specific meeting for it. So I
Oh,
don't know if you
to-
pay,
that would be the
I
only
don't know if you
topic
pay
then?
attention to planning board meetings, but they usually end between 11 and
I know.
12.
Right.
You'll notice, we, last meeting discussed putting this on the 6th.
Yeah,
Well,
it's too that's what I'm
today
saying,
was
the 6th is too busy.
deadline for the 6th,
Yeah,
and then pushed-
and it's crazy, exactly.
It's
So
not
we'll
too bad.
more than likely have the public hearing for it on its own meeting, so we don't have to,
Yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
be long enough without it.
Yeah, but I was hoping if people had time to review it
Yeah.
and
Oh,
comment ahead
absolutely.
of time, then we wouldn't
Yes.
have to have them standing in line to make comments.
Yep.
I'm thinking positive that that many people are gonna be reading it, but
Correct, yeah.
I may be
Yeah,
dreaming.
but at least we're giving them the opportunity since they said they
Right.
wanted to be
And-
involved.
And we have met our commitment by
Yes,
doing it.
exactly, by letting them know. Jeff, there's somebody in the audience who wants to.
And I will definitely kind of say that, let's draft up that message to to that listserv. Once we obviously firm up the dates and such like that, we do want to ensure that, you know, the infrastructure is available to elicit that feedback. We have a good plan for that. And did I see, Deb?
Mr. Chairman, you get a chance. Just a quick question to the co-chair on the planning. Goes to the planning committee, you guys review it, changes as you deem appropriate, then does it come back here?
No,
No.
it's
Then it's
passed
final.
here. Yeah, it's
Okay.
passed here.
Those drafts are fine,
Correct.
those chapters will be fine.
Correct. I just, before you go to Deb, I do want to, like I just did with the draft, in terms of whatever you're gonna send out to the email, I'm totally comfortable if just you and Kelly handle that. It doesn't need opinions from me. I don't think it needs opinions from any of the board. I think that can all get handled.
Sure, unless anyone on the board would like to volunteer to take that task. I will take it. Thanks. Deb?
Oh, I have to say my name, hold on. Deb Paul, 118 Hardy Road. I just have a question, because I couldn't hear very good over there.
Sorry.
When you were saying the email's gonna go out, all the people that did the survey,
Not
I-
all.
Not all the people, just the people who signed
who
at
did
the
the
bottom.
emails? Yeah, who
Yeah.
you have, well,
Yeah.
how else could you email them to them if you didn't have to do it? Anyway, to those people, you're gonna give them the draft and ask for input, correct? And I just want a clarification. Are you gonna put the date and time of that planning board public hearing on there, so they're aware of it? Is that gonna be on there too?
So, I wanna make sure I'm clear.
Yep.
So the initial ask that I heard tonight is get this out. I don't know when the planning board hearing is gonna be yet, because
Yeah, no,
you have your
I think
first
it's
discussion.
appropriate to let them know when the first discussion's gonna be.
So we can
Because
tell,
to our
we
point,
can-
it
we
could be
can-
2 months before we have the
We
hearing.
can say the planning board's gonna be, do you want us to say, I guess it's a question.
Yeah.
You want us to say the planning board will be discussing this amongst the board on the 13th?
What I want to have,
I'm not gonna be. I guess it's gonna depend on how, you know, if there's 10 million people in the room, it's gonna be hard to take public comment. But if it's in a setting like this where Deb has a question, I have no problem having her come up. But
So I'll stick with
if there's
putting-
100 people in the room, that's kind of a
I'll just stick with putting August 13th, the planning board will be
Reviewing.
discussing this
Doing-
item.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And I'll leave it
having
at
an
that.
initial review.
And
Hold-
tell
If they
them to
show up,
refer
well, we should-
Yeah,
refer
yeah, I
to the
agree. I
website
agree
for
with-
additional dates.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I want to be very clear what this process is going to be in that message, whether we have the dates or not. But I want to be clear that, the planning board will have an initial review. I want to be clear that the committee has kind of reviewed this. We took, input, from the survey, having it that clearly articulated in the message. I want to ensure that it's communicated that the opportunities for a public hearing will be available. And if we have that date, great, but if not, then we're going to,
We'll send out another.
send out,
notice when we
send
have
out
it.
another email and communicate that.
I just want to be clear
appropriately.
for tonight. What I understood it to be is we want to get this out so people have time.
Yeah.
We
to
do,
look at it.
absolutely.
Yes.
So,
What I would recommend is that we can, once you approve the final draft, we can, or you can, it doesn't matter who, draft the email message, and then you guys can look at it. I'm happy to draft it. You guys approve that message, and then we will send that out. We won't actually send the draft chapter. I don't know if some folks' computers or their systems can.
We're gonna link
how
it.
big, but
It's gonna
we
be linked
will-
to the,
It'll be linked to the website.
Yeah,
I just want to be clear on that.
No, as
It'll
long
be-
as they get the info, for me, as long
Yep.
as they're getting the information,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's their document.
right,
We're just, moving it along, but it really is
We're just the
the public's
stewards and the-
document.
kind of the
And-
shepherds of trying to get
Yeah,
that through.
shepherds is a great word, thank you.
Um,
And I did like what you said, and you kind of took what I was gonna say and say, make sure that this is, you can go and listen,
Yeah,
if there's not a lot of, but there will be, keep your eyes open for the, because I just think that's
right,
important.
absolutely.
right,
Especially with a
thank you.
document of this magnitude.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. Any other public comments? Great. So, another piece of our agenda was going over the survey questions. Folks, those survey questions were also sent to this committee as part of our packet a few weeks back. Does anyone have any feedback on them?
No, we didn't do the minutes approval from last meeting.
Well-
I'll make sure we do
Well,
it.
we'll get those. I'm too excited to kind of get.
Sorry to point that out, but
No, you're good.
Do you need a motion on these, or can we?
So our ask of the committee is if you are ready for this next step to go forward, that you motion it to go to the planning board for a quick review, and then we can proceed with.
I'll make a motion if you want. I mean, I
Yeah.
looked at it.
Yeah.
No, now we're making a motion to do the new questions.
Sorry.
The new questions.
The new questionnaire.
Questions. So actually, so the last, when we did this for the land use chapters, those surveys, those didn't go to the planning board for review?
You did?
Yeah, I don't
Remember
remember that
that.
either.
No, the
I don't
questions,
think
no,
so.
they
No,
didn't.
they didn't.
No, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't
Did
go.
not.
Planning
So
I
we,
have no problem with them not going to the board. I just want us to make a motion so they can start getting them out.
right.
So,
If you don't think that needs to happen, we don't need to
No.
do that.
I don't
Not at
think,
all.
no, I just want this committee to kind of, have the input in, and we ensure that we're capturing the appropriate questions so we can, drive
seemed pretty good.
this research.
So, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion
I have a
to,
question real quick.
accept the
Sylvia's.
survey as proposed.
I'll accept the motion and we'll have a discussion before vote.
I'll second it.
Second by Bob. So I'll open the floor for discussion. Sylvia?
So there was one, because this involves natural resources, I don't know if the group wants to ask the Conservation Commission, for example, for input. So that's one question.
And utility committee?
This is
we do
natural
water.
resources,
We do
transportation.
water,
and-
we do water at utility.
Okay, thank you. So if that's something that would make sense to provide them with an opportunity to provide feedback. I did get one comment, or a couple comments. One was, do we want to add a category for age that says a 75-plus category?
That was my,
Right, and the reason why I like apples to apples, if we do that, then it's different than the last one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, the other one was on under transportation, on number 1. I think, Bob, you suggested a category H, impact of proposed new developments on existing neighborhoods and streets.
Yeah, I think it's a critical thing, and people are talking about it all over town. Especially with some proposals that I'm not gonna mention, that are very large. That will feed into 2-lane roads.
It is a bit specific compared to some of these,
Well,
but I leave it up to the group if they think that's.
yeah, I forgot I said that. I think it, personally, I can't speak for the whole group, it's critical. People are very concerned, if you talk to people in town, about people's neighborhoods being concerned about becoming cut-throughs for other developments, and also overloading very narrow 2-lane roads that can barely handle traffic they have now. So that is a concern.
Aren't those the concerns though all listed there?
What page are you on of the survey? Survey's
Or
huge.
Right there, so you see cut through traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's under transportation.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
so
guess
That's what I'm
it
saying,
is.
it's already kind of
I
covered.
guess it is.
Cut through traffic
Like
is there.
traffic
growing
volume.
congestion and
Yeah, it's
traffic
there.
volume.
It's fine.
You feel
We do-
okay?
Just from a procedural standpoint,
I,
there is a motion and a second,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question about.
just procedurally here.
So let's,
So we're past
Can I
it.
ask another question about
Yeah.
this?
sure, go ahead, Martha.
I'm just wondering, how are we gonna get this survey out?
First, we
Okay,
wanna
so
make
let's-
sure that you
yeah,
actually
that's
want it the way it
logistics.
is,
Oh,
and
oh,
then-
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're
That's my
talking
next
about
question
if
for
the
you.
survey,
For
and I
you.
apologize, but
Jump
we'll
in.
definitely get to the logistics
Jump
and
in.
kind of go through all that. So folks, we had the opportunity to kind of review this. I heard that there was a suggestion by staff to potentially have this go to conservation and water. Do we, as the representatives of the Conservation and Utilities Committee, I asked what values would we receive there? I'm not questioning, I'm just
No,
definitely
I-
asking.
The good news is, we meet Tuesday, so if I can email this out to commission members, we can have your comments back by Wednesday morning.
Does the overall committee feel comfortable voting on these questions pending input from the
Yeah, I'm-
utilities
I'm,
and?
I'm fine with it.
I'm okay
I
with
think
it.
that
Utilities and
if there is
Conservation
any other
Committee.
input, I'm
Yeah.
totally comfortable with the 3 of you adding. I
Perfect.
trust that the 3 of you are gonna do the right thing, so. I'm
And
comfortable
we're
with it.
meeting Tuesday too,
Yeah.
so.
Perfect, great.
So, second motion?
We already
Got that?
seconded it.
We got a motion,
had
I
the
got a
second.
second.
All in favor with?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Excellent. So we have an approved survey from this committee pending the input from our Utilities and Conservation Committee.
So
This is
we didn't
already-
change anything.
Correct, you didn't change anything yet, so the motion is, either as written or, subject to changes,
Okay, I
from
guess
Conscom and utilities.
I have a copy of this at home, so I can forward what I have at home to the conscom.
Yep, and I was gonna say, so this is on the website as well,
Okay.
under this agenda, so if, I can also send it to you two separately in its own doc if you want, but it's linked on the,
Yeah,
As a
I
Okay.
have it.
I have it as a
too.
document
then
for-
I'll leave
to
it to
review.
you to get it to you.
Okay.
Yep, I'll do
And-
that tonight.
And then if we should have any comments from our committee members, send them to you.
Please.
Okay?
Did I hear you're both meeting on Tuesday?
Yeah.
What time?
We're at 7:30.
And we're at 6:30. 6. I'm sorry, we're at 6.
I'm just wondering if I should go. No?
I don't think, yeah, no, I would say keep it,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
asking a lot.
yeah. We have the survey, we're just asking them if they wanna add
I may
anything
be
to
there
it.
Tuesday at your meeting,
Yeah.
March, so.
Okay.
You'll just come to utilities too. Haven't been there in a while.
Yeah,
We'll-
why
We'll
not?
be in a little,
Have a party. I might even show up.
All right, so next, our question to you all is the time frame and the how for the survey, yeah?
And Martha, thank you for definitely bringing that up. From the how, my expectation or thought is the same, the same survey monkey or whatever Southern Hampshire Planning uses as a survey tool. Keep it the same survey tool, unless you have something more enhanced. I'm less concerned there. I would like for this to Coincidentally, I didn't actually think we were gonna be at this point, but it is right before Old Home Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we just do it the
When is
same
that?
exact thing we did
Wait,
last
Right.
time?
August,
Yeah, because we did postcards and cool stuff.
Deb?
I thought of this last night, not last night, what day is today? Yeah, last night, Wednesday, at the concert on the Commons, I saw Kirsten sitting there with the town has a booth there.
Yep.
And I thought to myself, the master plan steering committee should have someone sitting there with Kirsten, or just Kirsten, with a sign saying, this is our site, you wanna participate, we're gonna have some surveys coming up. So you're telling people, there's a whole bunch of people that go there, and they walk by there to get to the food truck, so it's
Yep.
in a perfect spot.
Jake, I'm gonna volunteer and miss the planning board
sorry.
meetings for those ones.
Yeah, all right. Missed the,
I think it's a great idea.
We still got a couple of concerts
Yep.
before
no, I think it's a
Old
fun-
Home
yeah,
Day, and I thought,
phenomenal idea.
that's
Might
kinda
as
why I
well.
stayed here.
Yeah,
We didn't do it last year, but we should've.
Might as well.
that's a great idea. And
we
so,
can also do Old Home Day again this year.
do Old Home Day and,
Hey, Jeff, do you remember, I can't remember this, I know we went to the senior fair because I was there with Lynn, and I know we did the Post-its on the thing
yeah,
last Old Home Days. Did we do, maybe we've done this, I forgot, did we do a QR code that we could put in the Londonderry Times or people with some,
we had a QR code.
we
and-
did in Londonderry Times,
and the
right?
Londonderry
Yeah, we did,
Times.
okay,
Yep,
yeah.
Very much
I thought so.
had it there, yeah. And very thankful for that
That
as
would-
well.
Those are good way to
That'd
get the
be
word
very
out.
good too.
Very thankful for that. So, yeah, and social media blasts. So that was huge. To Jake's point, same schedule, same
Yeah.
thing we did last
Keep it as
year.
similar as we can, add what Deb said about the, if we can have if, I'm sure if she's fine with having something at her booth, I'm trying not to volunteer Kirsten, but I'm volunteering her, Kirsten, I should say.
Sylvia, Kelly, does that sound?
Absolutely.
perfect,
I was just
great.
chuckling because I've already had a whole child and he's about to turn 1, so.
Hey!
But we'll do it all again.
So,
This
with,
time I'll be there.
I was gonna say, if we're
Folks-
doing it again, you
A
have
lot
another
lighter.
child.
so folks, what, folks, what that does mean is that we will need volunteers from the committee to staff these.
What we did last
Yeah,
time
we
is we
did.
put on a Google Doc the schedule so that people could volunteer for certain times. I won't be there, so,
I'll be
Yeah,
there.
you will.
Don't worry about it.
no, I really won't. But Cam can be, I'll see if Cam or Suzanne can go, or I have other staff and to help with setup and all that. But Kelly, can you reserve a table for us?
Sure, I can do.
Actually, I did
Whatever
receive
this
an
committee
email
needs.
from Kirsten, so if you wanna, Kelly, if you could, you take that, reserve our table
Consider
for
it done.
Old Home Day. And we will also start to staff concerts on the Common.
Let me look into the
Yeah,
logistics.
the
of
Google,
that.
the
Yeah,
server, the
just
Google
add,
Docs
if
is
she
the
can't
best
do it, she
way.
can't do it, but if she can have something on the table, that'd be great, you know?
And I would absolutely miss planning board meetings for concerts on the Common.
What if we
about
all
master
missed the
plan.
meeting? What if we all missed the meeting? What would
Let me
happen?
look
If we had
into
the meeting there.
logistics of that.
That's good. All right, folks.
We had a table at the library, remember? We had, at the senior center.
Well, we went to senior fair,
We
senior
had
fair.
paper copies. We went to the vote across the street.
That was, yeah, for
We won't have
primary
that,
season,
though.
so we won't have that.
Yeah,
We won't have the
that
vote.
was unique.
For this one.
I remember bringing Deb chocolate as she stood outside to survive that.
So I think Kelly and Sylvia, maybe we get
Penn's
a
been in
list
here for
just
5
of
years.
all of those kind of
Yeah,
schedule,
we can
and we can
develop a schedule.
and build it out.
A rough schedule of how this is gonna go.
All
Perfect.
right.
Awesome.
But it really was Facebook and people
Social media was
getting
the,
it out on Facebook. That really made the difference.
and all those definitely all those touch points. All right, folks.
Motion to adjourn, sir.
You wanna do the
Second.
minutes?
Oh, yeah, the minutes.
The minutes.
I'll make, I thought it was, I will say it was pretty funny that somebody wasn't here to do the minutes, by probably watching the tape, which is, I thought was pretty genius, but I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 26th meeting.
Second?
Motion and a second. All in favor of approval of their June 26, 2025 minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah, I guess one last question is, next steps, are we meeting next month, we're gonna go on to the next chapter? Is that
We
the
are
plan?
we're
Okay.
gonna continue to meet next month.
Okay.
Third Thursday, pending, third Thursday. So,
So now motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
we have a motion on the table, second.
Second it.
We have a second by, let's say, Martha. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thursday would be.
Thank you so much, folks.